Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Mr. Fitness, the body transformation specialist. And on tonight's episode of Weight Loss Warriors, we're going to be speaking with Cara. Now, Cara has an absolutely awesome story that she's going to share with us tonight in just a few moments. She's going to talk about how she's lost almost 180 pounds simply with just hard work, diet, and a few other things that she's going to share with us tonight. So if you're in for a great episode, if you're looking to learn some things that you can use immediately, then you're in the right place. If you're new to Weight Loss Warriors, welcome. But if you've been here before, welcome back. On Weight Loss Warriors, our goal is to motivate, to inspire, and to encourage you to know that you too can do it. See, there's nothing special about Cara. She's just identified her problem. She identified a solution and she took action. So tonight, if you're ready to take action, you're going to learn some things that can get your journey started. Now, in just a few moments, we're going to get Cara on the show so she can tell her story. But if you've missed any of the past episodes and you'd like to get caught up, obviously after tonight's live, head on over to youtube.com/fitnessmotivation4u2. That's fitness motivation, the number 4, the letter U, the number 2. There you'll be able to check out every past episode of Weight Loss Warriors, plus some other really good content. And if you've got a weight loss story that you'd like to share and you'd like to do it here on a future episode of Weight Loss Warriors, and you're watching this live, go ahead and DM me and let's talk. But if you're watching this on YouTube, on the rebroadcast down below, click the link and let's chat about getting you on a future episode. Now that we got all of that out of the way, let's see if we can get Cara on the show. Let's see where she's at. To be coming on soon. What's going on, y'all? We're gonna have an absolutely great episode tonight. And if you guys got any, she is. What's going on, Cara?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing very good. How are you?
Good.
Good. So, guys, before we get this interview started, if you have any questions that you would like Cara to answer, she's gonna give us her Instagram at the end, so you can reach out to her directly. But during this live, feel free to give us all your questions. I got a whole bunch of questions, so I don't know if we'll have time for all of your questions, but we'll make time for as many of them as we can. So, Cara, I just want to hear your story. I don't like to beat around the bush. I know you got some really good information that you're going to be giving everybody tonight. So the first thing I want to ask you is, what was your highest weight? Let's start there.
My highest weight was 357 pounds.
Okay. And what's your current weight?
181.
Okay. And how long did it take you to get from your highest weight to your current weight?
About a year and a half.
Okay. All right. And what's your goal weight? Are you there, or do you have more that you're looking to lose?
I would like to be at 160, 165-ish, but okay. I'm happy maintaining at this point right now.
Okay. So looking at the big picture, how long do you think it's going to take you to get to your goal weight?
I put myself at being at my goal weight by the end of this year.
All right. And I believe, well, first, what do you plan on doing differently to help you get to that goal weight by the end of the year? It seems like you got a lot of time, but what do you plan on doing?
I'm going to change my diet up a little bit. I'm already low carb, but I'm going to try to restrict my carbs a little bit more because I'm more of, I guess, like a keto, lazy keto. I'm not a strict keto. Okay. So I'll probably get a little tighter on that, and then it'll probably get me there. All
right. So guys, if you're not familiar with keto, I'm sure that once we get to more of the diet part of your journey, we will discuss keto, and this will lay a good foundation for you to learn a little bit more about keto. But I'm sure Cara can answer any questions if you have after the live on how she does keto and how you can start incorporating it into your lifestyle. So the next question I want to ask you is your Instagram name. Where did that come from? How did you choose that name?
I don't know if anybody's seen 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying. It was kind of like a play on that, Get Sleeved or Die Trying, because I had the vertical sleeve gastrectomy. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay. So that name is kind of goes right into your journey and where you've been and where you started. But let's kind of, let's go back to the beginning of your journey. What was your, I guess, your enough is enough moment? Like, why did your journey start? How did it start? Take us there.
I mean, I would say I didn't really necessarily have a specific moment. More so moments put together. My son, I was seeing that I wasn't giving him the proper attention and the childhood he deserved. I wasn't able to play with him, run with him in the yard, and I would tire out super fast. Even getting in the floor, I was out of breath, rolling around with him. And he deserved better than that. So I need to make a change. Something's gotta give.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I see we have something that's not so much of a question, but it kind of leads into one of the questions that I knew I wanted to ask you. A_fat_free_me said, you're an inspiration. I always wanted to see quick results, but hearing you say it took a year and a half is what I needed to hear, slow and steady. So what do you say to someone that isn't getting fast results, and maybe that person's ready to give up, maybe they're ready to quit, maybe they're frustrated? What advice would you give to that person?
I would just say everybody's body is different. Hang in there. You can't compare your journey to someone else's. You can't your body is going to take a diet different than someone else's will. I've tried numerous. The one I'm on now is the only one that's worked for me. Sometimes it is trial and error, but you just got to hang in there and figure out what works best for you and your body. And don't compare your journey to anyone else's.
Mm-hmm. And I think you when you say that, you're right on the money, because we all are individuals, and I think sometimes we get caught up in saying, well, this one did that and that one did that, and you got to understand that this is not a race against other people. You're not competing with other people. The
Right.
only person you're competing with is yourself. So as I always tell my clients, as long as you never give up, you'll eventually at some point in the future, and you stay consistent, you'll see the result. So definitely don't compare yourself to anyone else. Understand that your journey is your journey, and as long as you're doing what's necessary, you will get the results.
Right.
So Sleeved Up Sherry says, when you do keto after being sleeved, do you still do high fat? She says, my nutritionist has me avoiding a lot of fat. What's your advice?
Well, there is a difference between regular keto and bariatric keto. They do say those who have bariatric surgery of any kind that attempt keto should always try to get their protein in higher than their fats. So that is true. And that is primarily what I did in the beginning, but now I've kind of just went more mainstream keto. And I've been maintaining. But yeah, for someone who has bariatric surgery in the beginning, they do advise you to do lower fats, higher protein.
Mm-hmm. So Sleeved Up Sherry, I hope that answers your question. So next, you said that you tried to lose weight naturally, but you always gained it back. And you even said that you got hurt while you were trying to lose weight. Talk a little bit about that, the point of doing it naturally, and when did you decide that doing it naturally just wasn't enough?
I want to say, for everyone, like I said earlier, it's different. But when you weigh over a certain amount of pounds, I'm 5'3", 5'4", my frame is little. I was almost 400 pounds. Attempting to exercise, I would lose some. And in trying, I got hurt. I rolled my ankle, and that put me out. I gained the weight back. When you're that heavy, sometimes it is impossible to exercise to the full potential. You're going to hurt your joints. You're going to hurt other parts of your body. It didn't work for me. I tried multiple times. I tried all the fad diets and everything, and they never worked for me. So I can't say that it's not possible for some. It may be, but it wasn't for me, and I knew, I had to try a different way.
Mm-hmm. So what was the hardest part of losing weight naturally? And what kind of injuries did you suffer from losing weight naturally, or trying to lose the weight?
I would say the hardest part was the gym. A lot of people think that the food, the dieting is going to be the harder part, which normally it is. You sticking to a diet is harder, but for me, dieting was never. I could always stick to a diet or things that I needed to eat. But being so heavy, it was hard to even get to a jog or run and run out of breath. And then, you just want to give up. You don't have the endurance, the stamina at that weight.
Yeah. All right. So the next question comes from, I'm probably going to mess this up. I'm going to try to pronounce it, but I'm probably going to get it wrong. Why_Mina said, I had VSG less than a month ago. She said, please tell me that it gets easier. I can't even take 1 spoon of food. So what would you say to her? Sounds like right now she is having some issues. Maybe she wants to eat more and just can't because of the surgery. Does it get easier? And what encouragement could you give?
It does get easier. Your restriction when you first start is really hard. Your restriction's very small. You got to think, your stomach it's been through a lot. It just got cut, so it's swollen still, and it actually takes a couple months for it to go down. You'll get to the point where it doesn't feel like it's in your chest all the time. Your restriction will get a little better. I'm probably at like 6 to 8 ounces now, so yeah, don't let that bother you. It does take time. It's a little frustrating, but she'll get through it.
Yeah. And look, frustration is part of the journey. If you do it naturally, if you do it without surgery, there's going to be ups and downs. It's not a clear path to getting to where you want to be. There's going to be good and there's going to be bad. But you got to understand that, and you got to accept it, and you got to know that if you continue to do what's necessary, eventually you'll get to where you want to be. And understand that the surgery is just a tool. And this is a question that I kind of wanted to save till later, but since we're on the topic, what do you say to someone that, I guess, says that surgery is you're cheating, or surgery is the easy way out? Obviously, I believe that these people are misinformed on the process of surgery, and they truly don't understand, but that's my opinion. What do you think? What do you say about that?
Oh, how I've heard that so many times from people. Honestly, it's not. It is a tool, and I have family members who have had the surgery and they've failed drastically, gained all their weight back. Plus, if you don't change mentally what's going on in here, and if you don't change your way of eating, your nutrition, the surgery is not going to hold up. It is a tool to help you learn to cope with food, managing portions, and if you use it properly, you can lose weight. However, if you overeat, stretch it out, you're just going to be in the same boat you were prior. It takes a lot of dedication to stick to a plan, and no surgery is easy. What surgery's ever been easy? So, yeah.
So how did you choose the surgery that you chose?
I did a lot of research on it, actually, and I had my surgery at the Alabama Weight Loss Center, which is a prominent weight loss. The doctors there are not world renowned, but they're known for it, especially in the South. A lot of people from different states will travel to them. I did my research on doctors, locations, and surgeries. The sleeve came highly referred from the doctors there. They actually prefer to do it over like a bypass or the lap band. Actually, my doctor refuses to do the lap band, but he's not had any kind of complications through any patients except one who actually overate her first, she was supposed to eat chicken wings when she was on a liquid diet.
Yeah.
So it failed her, but it's the safest out of all of them, from what I've been told and what I researched.
So, what advice would you give to someone that's afraid of surgery? This person might know that they've tried everything and they haven't seen the results that they want to see, but they also understand that they want to live a better quality life. And surgery is probably the easiest way to get started, to get them on the right path, to get them to lose a good amount of weight so they can start to feel better. What would you say to that person to ease their nerves about the surgery?
I would tell them just to do their research on it and follow through with people. Honestly, Instagram was a big platform for me. It helped me out tremendously. I looked up tons of people's accounts who had had the surgery, talked with a bunch of them. They were always really friendly and open. The community, the VSG community is amazing on Instagram. But, if you're scared of surgery in general, it's a mind thing. You have to put yourself in the position where you're like, am I going to be like this for the rest of my life, or am I going to take this chance and leap, and do it? Like, if you really feel like it is your last choice, why not take that choice for a better quality of life? I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't done it.
Hmm. So what was it about your quality of life prior to the surgery that I guess made you really want to take this step of following through with the surgery?
Mm. I'm one of those people that I'm always in a good mood and I'm always like trying to make other people laugh and be happy, but on the inside, I was miserable. I
Hmm.
really was. I knew that I was body positive and, taking on the BBW thing, which I've always
Hmm.
loved myself.
Hmm.
However, I knew I was not healthy
Hmm.
and I knew that I needed to make a change because I didn't like where I was going. I didn't like how my health was. I was really sluggish and just lazy and
Hmm.
um I don't know, I didn't want to go down that road. I didn't want to get diabetes, congestive heart failure, there was so many things riding on this decision. I just decided to jump on it and do it.
Hmm. And I know when we were talking before, you said you wanted to get healthy, and you noticed that this was your last chance to get things under control. Why did you believe that this was the last chance for you to get things under control?
I had went to the doctor for some blood work and they came back and told me that I was pre-diabetic. I had
Hmm.
never had issues with high blood pressure or anything, and I always told myself that, yeah, I'm bigger, but I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have diabetes. That
Hmm.
stuff will catch up to you. And it did. They did the blood work, and I came back pre-diabetic, and I said, okay, that I got it. I got to do it.
Hmm. And I think what you said was about body positive and, in loving yourself. And I want people to understand that wanting to live the best life possible is not a slight on the fact that you're now making changes to be the best version of yourself. You can still love yourself,
Hmm.
but I want you to love yourself enough to do something about where you're at. You noticed that being where you were was not healthy. And
Hmm.
although you loved yourself, I'm sure that there were some aches and some pains and some things that you were going through being overweight. And you loved yourself enough to do something about it. And I think that's really what true love is. I always say, how can you really love yourself if you're not willing to take care of yourself?
Right.
This is not just about the outside, it's about everything in your quality of life. And, I want to applaud you for taking
Thank you.
charge of getting yourself to where you wanted to be. So, talk about your childhood. Like, were you always heavy growing up? Or did you grow up in a household with a lot of overweight people?
I was chunkier growing up, but I would say like, I was always probably the biggest girl in my class. But a lot of it, we were just like an Italian household. We ate pizza and pasta, like all the time with some kind of pasta
Mm-hmm.
dish.
Mm-hmm.
Which now that I've done the keto thing and I relayed back to my past, I'm thinking, wow, I did eat a lot of carbs as a kid. It wasn't necessarily fried chicken and stuff, but it was a lot of pasta and
Yeah.
sauce and so,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, my mom, she was never like heavy or
Mm-hmm.
anything, but she did a lot of the yo-yo dieting when I was younger too. She would gain some weight and then
Mm-hmm.
lose a lot and be small for a while and then gain the weight back. And I kind of seen myself taking that going down that path as well. Um, I lost a lot after high school. During high school, I lost some playing sports, quit playing sports, gained some back. Out of high school, graduating, I lost a lot at my first job, gained a lot back when I got pregnant. So it was a lot of yo-yoing back and forth with my weight.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like there was support around your journey when you first started. How
Hmm.
was that support system? How was it important to the success of your journey? And what advice would you give to someone that maybe they don't have the support system that would be optimal to success?
Yeah, I did have a great support system. My mom was very supporting. It was very I remember the first conversation I had with her, telling her that I wanted the surgery. I figured she would be like, no, you can do it this way, this way, this way. But she was very supportive and she backed my decision. You know, most of my friends as well, the close ones that I told, were supportive. For those who don't have a support system, I keep hate going back to Instagram, but honestly, the community on here has been so great. Everybody, I've not had a lot of backlash about the surgery through Instagram necessarily. And I've been able to reach out to so many bariatric patients and myself. If anybody ever needed to talk to me, you know, and needed a support system, I'm there. You know, I just say you will find certain people who won't agree with it, but they don't know what you've been through. Until they know what you've been through, they shouldn't speak on it.
Mm-hmm. So do you wish, I mean, a lot of people have regrets. We all have regrets about something in life. Do you regret not getting the surgery sooner?
Yeah. I wish I would have. Yeah.
Why?
Like I said, I had a kid, and I feel like I wasted the first couple years of his life. And there's a lot we could have done together probably when he was smaller. Also, my quality of life was poor. Now that I've lost all the weight, I love going to the gym. I love exercising. I love running, and I would have never thought I would say that I enjoy running for fun, but I do. I love 5Ks and stuff, and I wish I would have been able to go back to my early 20s and maybe, yeah, early 20s and just live all this that I'm doing now over again at a younger age. Start sooner.
Mm-hmm. And I think, guys, if you're watching this and you're there where maybe you're missing out on some things in life, some moments, some experiences, you got to realize that those things you can't get back. And putting it off doesn't make it easier. Like, nothing gets easier by ignoring it. And it's not going to be easier tomorrow. It's not going to be easier next week or next month. So as I say, you just do like Nike said and just do it. Stop thinking about it, because it doesn't get easier by thinking about it. Do your research, but take action. As I said in the beginning, the main difference between people that succeed and people that don't is, like yourself, Cara, you identified your problem. You identified a solution, and most importantly, you took action. You did something about it. And guys, that's the whole goal of this, is to encourage you to do the same. You can get the same results, but you're not going to get them if you keep thinking about it and if you keep waiting for things to happen, because it's not going to happen to you. You're either going to do it or nothing's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So let's talk now about one of the most important parts outside of surgery to getting you to where you want to be, and that's diet. So when we spoke, you said that you were an emotional eater and you ate just to eat. But then you said, now I look at food as nutrition. Mm-hmm. What did you do to begin the process of changing the way you looked at food and now looking at it as nutrition instead of just eating because of your emotions or eating just to eat?
Well, for starters, I seen a nutritionist. I went and actually sat down with someone who walked through what I normally eat on a daily, and she broke it down. You know, this is how many calories you're eating, this is how many carbs you're eating, you know, and it's only fueling your body this much. Whereas if you were to eat this food and this food and this food, you know, you're getting this amount of fiber, this amount of fuel, you know, protein. I realized that I was eating junk. I thought that I was eating things, not that I said that were good for me, but I mean, that were sustaining my body. However, I was just putting garbage into it. So now I'm more organic and more fruits and vegetables and protein, and not so much, you know, processed foods, I guess you would say. So, yeah.
So earlier you said you were on a form of keto that you called lazy keto. And that actually seems a little bit simpler to understand than maybe strict keto. And maybe it's a great way to start investigating keto and to see if it can work as someone's plan. So explain a little bit about your lazy version of keto.
So a lot of people think that keto is bacon and cheese and, you know, oh, I can eat bacon, bacon, bacon all the time. That's actually not correct. bacon is fine, but in moderation. You still got to think along the lines that some of these red meats and these foods that you eat do have a lot of fat in them, and they can clog your arteries. That was a big. I always questioned keto, whenever I heard about it,
Hmm.
but I did my research into it. Lazy keto, I balance out. I do eat vegetables, non-starchy vegetables. So,
Hmm.
you can't eat potatoes, and I usually stick to green veggies like asparagus, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, things like that. And as far as meats, I tend to stick to lean protein like chicken, fish, tuna, stuff like that. I do eat red meat, but it's very, very uncommon and very rare.
Hmm.
Probably the most red meat I eat would be like occasional pork, like pepperoni and stuff. But
Hmm.
lazy keto is you don't count your macros. In keto, you have macros, which is like your fat, your calories, your carbs. Lazy keto, you just pretty much are counting your carbs. You do your net carbs, so you would subtract your fiber and your sugar alcohols from your overall carb intake, and that gives you your net carbs. You
Hmm.
don't have to keep up with as many numbers.
Yeah. Now, was lazy keto is that your like your term that you use? Because I've never heard of lazy keto before. I actually like the name lazy keto, and if you came up with it, maybe you should like write a book or something, because it actually sounds pretty catchy.
No, I didn't come up with lazy keto. It's just like a
Damn.
common term. I know it's a common term. A lot of people in the keto community use like the tryhards that do the ultimate keto. They're like, oh, I do ultimate. I don't do lazy keto. They count
Hmm.
their macros and everything.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Okay. And lazy does not mean not effective. Okay. This is
no,
working. So lazy keto is effective. All right.
it
So
is
let
effective.
Yeah. So let's get on to Brown Eyed Curl's question. She says, "You look fantastic," which I agree.
Oh, thank
So
you.
you're welcome. So she's asked, she says, "Do you have concerns about loose skin?" So she's got another question, but let's start there. Do you have concerns about loose skin?
Girl, I have it. It was definitely a concern when I started the process because, like I said, I was almost 400 pounds. I wasn't naive to the fact that I wasn't going to have loose skin, but I would rather have all the loose skin than have the weight that I had on me, the pre-diabetes, congestive heart failure, everything that comes along with being overweight, just morbid obesity. I do have loose skin though. Mainly my stomach was probably one of the biggest parts on me, so I do have a lot of loose skin in my stomach and in my arms. I do.
Mhm.
But like I said, I would take that over being
Mhm.
overweight any day.
Yeah. So the next part of her question kind of links to the first part of the question, which she said, "Did the doctors have advice to limit loose skin, like possibly diet, supplements, or water intake? Were there any advice that they gave you?"
They did say, that you can, by going to the gym and toning up, you would be able to possibly control some of it. And by taking like collagen, there are things, and that you can try out on the market that supposed to tighten your skin. However, when you've been big for so long and your skin stays that stretched out for such a long time, it's hard for it to go back. I mean, it's really impossible depending on how big you are. The only way to correct it would be plastic surgery, which I do have plans on having some of mine removed.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's some times you can't. There's nothing you can do about it once it's gotten to that point.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So the next question I want to now talk about. We talked about the diet. Well, before we go there, before we go to the gym, which is the other part of the equation and working out, what advice would you give someone to start to change the way they look at food? Because your relationship with food is a huge part of your success, correct?
Hmm.
So what advice would you give somebody to start that process of changing their relationship with food?
It depends. If you are very dependent on food, like I was able to see a psychiatrist and discuss some of the problems I was having. I'm not ashamed of that. I did talk to somebody about the way I ate, the things I did eat, and how I was kind of an emotional eater. If you are to that point, you would have to speak with somebody to change your mindset on it. And but when you've had that enough is enough point, I feel like you're willing to try to change anything that you can mentally, and that's what I had to do. I had to go through, that process of, okay, you're not hungry, you don't need that, you're just bored, like
Yeah.
I had to come up with ways to talk to myself and get to that point before I even had the surgery. I was like, this is something you've got to change, because if you have the surgery and you don't change it, you've wasted it, you've wasted that chance.
Yeah. And I see that Mari underscore Chula 78 says, are you up to answering very private, sensitive questions that has to do with private parts? And maybe that I don't want to say that it's probably not appropriate for this audience. And I don't know what the question is, because she hasn't actually, I don't see that she's asked the actual question, but Cara's going to give her Instagram at the end, so you can reach out to her directly, and hopefully she can provide you with some solutions or some answers to whatever questions you have. So just know that, stick around to the end. Cara is going to give her Instagram for anybody that has questions after this interview. So let's talk about the gym. So what role has exercise played in your journey?
Oh, big. I've toned, like, my muscle. I cannot believe how much muscle I have. I didn't know it was underneath there. I never used it. It took me a while to be comfortable in the gym, because I was always looked at as, this big overweight person. But the gym has played a major role. I noticed how much stronger I am, how much more endurance and stamina I have. I've pushed myself past, so many hurdles at the gym by moving up from 5 to 10 to 15 to 20, curling weights. It's awesome. It's like an addiction kind of now.
So what advice would you give somebody that's looking to start an exercise program? What are the first things that they should do to get started?
I would say, depending on your weight and your comfortability, like with your mobility and, flexibility and everything, I would say, regardless, start off slow. You're not going to get on the treadmill and sprint. It's not going to happen. When I first started going to the gym, I was around 300, maybe a little bit over. So, I walked, on an incline, and then it got to the point where I was able to start walking faster, and then I was able to start jogging lightly, and then jogging faster, and now running. So it just takes time. You have to be patient with your body.
So we all hit plateaus. We all hit, stops and starts. How do you deal with those plateaus? How do you deal with I'm getting results, and then all of a sudden things start to slow down or stop?
I've had to tell myself, that muscle weighs more than, like that muscle, I can be losing fat and gaining muscle, and I don't see the scale move, and I'm like, I don't understand. I've been in the gym, 4 times this week. I've done this, I've done that. But I like to change up my routine. I've talked with someone at the gym who is an instructor, and she's like, okay, well, you're doing all this cardio. You need to be working on your core. You need to do this, switch it up. She's like, trick your body and do something different. Your body's used to your plan, what you've been doing, your program. You need to change it. So I will do that. I always do cardio every day because I like to run, but I will do cardio one day and arms, back and chest, and then another day cardio, legs and glutes. I switch it up. That way I'm not doing the same thing all the time.
And what you said is exactly right, is that a lot of people don't realize that the human body is very intelligent, and your body will get used to what you're doing extremely fast. I've read studies that say that your body will get used to what you're doing as quickly as 2 weeks of doing the same things over and over again. So tricking your body is very important, because what I do with my clients is every single workout is a little bit different. So we help to avoid the plateaus and continue them moving forward. So tricking your body and doing things different, great advice. So what do you, well, let me ask you this. What else has changed about your life now that you've lost all this weight? Outside of your weight, what else has changed about your life?
I'm so, like I said, I'm so much more active. Last
Mm-hmm.
weekend I was able to go skydiving, which was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never been able to do that. And also, I was always scared of heights, being heavier. I mean, the bigger you are, the harder you fall.
Uh-huh.
So
That's
I
what they
knew I
say.
would, yeah, that's what they say. So I knew I would never be able to go skydiving realistically at that weight, and that was like a gift to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I find myself doing cool new things that I would have never done before. Putting my body in positions, doing yoga that I could have never did. Fitting into spots, climbing over things at work that I was never able to do. It's just like little bitty victories, like non-scale
Yeah.
victories. They're awesome.
So what else are you motivated to do now that you've lost weight? Maybe, there's something that you couldn't do before. Maybe, write a book or something. What have you been motivated to, what challenge that you're deciding to do now that you've lost weight?
Um, Pretty much my goal, I really want to train to do a marathon or half marathon. Start out small first, half marathon.
Okay.
I've been doing the 5Ks and everything, and my first 5K time was like 47 minutes, and now I'm
Mm-hmm.
down to like 32 minutes. So I'm trying to get to the point where I can build up enough stamina to, go a half marathon. But that's like a big goal for me. I really want to do one.
Mm-hmm. So you've had, some health concerns, pre-diabetes, some things that have run in your family. How much of this journey was about looking better, and how much of it was about your health and feeling better?
I would say it was 90% about my health and feeling better, 10% vanity. Like I said, I was always body positive. Even as a bigger person, I loved myself and I rocked the skin I was in, until it became a health concern, medically, and, I loved who I was, but, I feel like it was more, I need to get this right because I want to have more kids. I want to have a better future for my children, my child I have now. So it was definitely more health over vanity.
Mm-hmm. So now you're speaking to someone that um, that's where you were when you started, and this is oftentimes the last question that I like to ask people on these interviews, because really this kind of drives home the whole point of this, of encouraging, motivating, and inspiring people. So what do you say to that person um, that needs to get started, to get them to take action? What do you say to that person?
I say you only have one life and you need to make it your best life. If you feel like you are not doing everything that you want to do, if you're not living up to your full potential as a person, then you need to change it. Whether it be doing it the natural way, as people say, or having a surgery. Regardless of how you do it, you are taking your life in your hands, and you are making the change. And no one should judge you for that. No one should hold you to any standard for choosing a certain way of doing it. No way is an easy way. Get your life back, because your health, you only live once and you only have one body. So, that would be my advice. Oh, and don't compare yourself to anyone else. Everybody is different.
Mm-hmm. So Mari Chula underscore Chula 78 said, I came in when it started, and I guess she has another question. How much have you lost? What was your starting weight and your height? So what's your height? What was your starting weight, and how much have you lost?
My starting weight was 357, and I'm at 181 now. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like 176, I think is what it is. And I'm 5'4", so I'm a little
Okay.
shorty.
And that was a time frame of how long did it take you to lose that weight?
A year and a half.
Great. All right, y'all. So, uh, you guys, you heard it here. Here's what I can promise you. I can promise you two things. Thing number one is that if you take action, you will eventually get to where you want to be. If you're consistent. The other thing I can promise you is that it will not be easy. I don't care what route you take. There's going to be ups and downs. Things are going to happen. You're not going to be motivated to eat right. You're not going to be motivated to go to the gym. That is all part of the journey. But the reality is winners never quit and quitters never win. So today you've got some good information. Cara has given you some things that you can go right now and start your journey. And if you're not getting results and you've already started, you can utilize those things like the lazy keto to start getting better results. But now is the time where you have to do something. So guys, we are about to get out of here. Cara, before we do that, give everybody your Instagram, because I already know people have questions that we didn't get a chance to ask or get a chance to get into today. So what questions do you, give them your Instagram so they can ask questions later.
Okay, it is get period sleeved period or period die period trying. Get sleeved or die trying.
That's right. Get sleeved or die trying. So guys, there you have it. Another awesome episode of Weight Loss Warriors. Cara, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your story. Again, guys, do like Nike said and just do it. Again, if you've got a weight loss story that you'd like to share and you'd like to do it here on a future episode of Weight Loss Warriors and you're watching this live, go ahead and DM me and let's talk. But if you're watching this on YouTube, and yes, I'm putting this on YouTube so you can see the replay, down below in the description, there'll be a link where you can reach out to me and let's talk about getting you on a future episode. Also, if you're starting a journey, you don't know what to do, or you've already started a journey, but you're not getting results, I'd love to help. So if you're watching this live, go ahead and DM me and let's talk. But if you're watching this on YouTube, down below in the description, there'll be a link where you can reach out to me and you can register for your free 30 days to my online fitness and nutritional coaching program. Again, Cara, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Guys, this is Mr. Fitness, the body transformation specialist, and Cara signing off. And as always, where there's a will, there's a way. And I hope you have an awesomely fantastic day. Till next time.